Christmas has never been about love. It has always been about lies and illusions. For years, I was captivated by the magic of twinkling lights and promises of warm gatherings around a bountiful table. But as time went on, I began to notice cracks in this dazzling theater. What was supposed to be a celebration of unity invariably ended in muffled arguments, sharp glances, and cutting words. Smiles were fake, words rehearsed, and happiness was nothing more than a tight costume everyone wore for a few hours before returning to their lonely lives. I tried to believe myself. I clung to the hope that Christmas could be more than a farce, but instead, I collected uncomfortable memories. The argument between my parents that erupted during dinner, the deadly silence after a secret was revealed, and the awkward presence of relatives who could barely tolerate each other. No one truly wanted to be there. They were just playing their roles. It was in these moments that I began to wonder, why do we insist on celebrating this day? Why does something supposedly pure and loving stir so much resentment and pain? These questions grew inside me like a strange seed planted by something I couldn't explain. I started to observe the details. The repetitive, melancholic songs sounded more like laments than celebrations. The decorations shone brightly, but there was something unsettling in their empty eyes. And Santa Claus stories. A stranger entering homes in the middle of the night. Who would really trust that? Christmas has always been shrouded in mysteries, sold as a celebration of Jesus Christ's birth, but it carries a hidden weight that few dare to question. What if everything we know about this date is nothing but an artificial construct? What if the true origins of Christmas are darker than we imagine? There's no concrete proof that Jesus was born on December 25th. Studies suggest this date was strategically chosen to coincide with pagan festivals like the Roman Saturnalia and winter solstice celebrations. Saturnalia was marked by unrestrained feasting, gift-giving, and even sacrifices in honor of the gods. For ancient peoples, the solstice symbolized rebirth and renewal, but was also seen as a period of spiritual vulnerability. When the church decided to Christianize these rituals, it didn't eliminate them completely. Instead, it absorbed them. The candles we light today symbolize fire to ward off hungry spirits. Evergreen wreaths were offerings to nature, asking for protection from the forces of darkness. Even Santa Claus's figure carries traces of ancient deities who visited homes during winter, some bringing gifts, others demanding sacrifices. There are records of secret cults that perform ceremonies during the solstice to appease dark entities. Candles were lit to guide lost spirits, bells were rung to drive away malevolent presences, and blood offerings were made. Other, even older traditions speak of human sacrifices made to ensure fertility and the earth's renewal. In Celtic culture, for instance, it was believed that the dead needed to be fed with offerings to avoid tormenting the living. This echoes modern customs like leaving food and drink for Santa Claus, an apparently innocent gesture with disturbing origins. What if these rituals never truly ended? What if, in some way, we are still repeating these pacts year after year, unknowingly? What scares me is how family arguments and tensions during Christmas always seem inevitable. Is it mere coincidence or a side effect of these ancient energies? As if the date is imbued with ancestral memories, echoing fears and desires we cannot control. I could no longer ignore the signs. The arguments became more frequent. Every Christmas was the same. Small tensions grew until they exploded, and the atmosphere became heavy, suffocating. It was as if something invisible was there, feeding on the conflicts, amplifying the cracks that already existed. Christmas started to feel toxic, as though an invisible presence sat at the table waiting for the drinking to begin so it could feed on it. Think about the decorations, the forced smiles, the twinkling lights. What if all of this is just a carefully planned illusion? A facade hiding something much darker? Perhaps we are not celebrating anything. Perhaps we are merely feeding something that has never ceased to exist. The symbols of Christmas have always seemed innocent. Candles glowing in windows, wreaths hanging on doors, and trees adorned with colorful ornaments. But the more I investigated, the more I realized none of this was simple. Each detail seemed to carry an invisible weight, as if something hidden in these customs refused to disappear. Candles, for example, were used in ancient rituals to summon presences and ward off evil spirits. Their light symbolized protection, but also served as a call, an invitation. Wreaths, with their perfect circles, were offerings to pagan gods, representing the eternal cycle of life and death. And trees? These were seen as bridges between the world of the living and the dead, adorned with objects to appease invisible entities. What if these symbols never lost their original function? What if they still act as keys, opening doors that should remain closed? This idea began to haunt me. I started to remember how Christmas in my family never seemed normal. There were always arguments, inexplicable tensions, and in some years tragedies, accidents, fights leading to separations, and even sudden deaths. I tried to push these thoughts away, but I couldn't. I remembered one specific year. During dinner, a glass fell off the table without explanation. Minutes later, one of my uncles collapsed and had to be rushed to the hospital. Another year, a gift mysteriously disappeared and was found days later, hidden in a dark corner of the house as if placed there by something that didn't want to be seen. These patterns unsettled me. The more I thought about it, the clearer it became that something was wrong. There was a presence, a silent and persistent energy. It was as if Christmas operated as a disguised ritual, a cycle repeated to keep something alive, something that demanded emotions, pain, and offerings to continue existing. I began to research more deeply and found ancient mentions of rituals performed during the winter solstice. Tribes lit bonfires to ward off the unknown, while others made blood offerings to ensure fertility and protection. One particular legend caught my attention. It spoke of a village that, to survive the longest nights, sacrificed its weakest member each year. The ritual ensured bountiful harvests, but the faces of the sacrifice were painted red and gold, the same colors that now adorn our homes. This connection shook me. Christmas may have been shaped to appear joyful, but perhaps it's nothing more than a facade, a disguised ritual that we continue to perpetuate, even unconsciously. What if today's symbols are echoes of these practices? The candles, the wreaths, the vibrant colors. These might be more than decorations. They might be offerings, marked stones sealing an ancient pact that was never broken. The more I thought, the more the details seemed to fit together. The movies, the songs, the traditions repeated year after year, all constructed to perpetuate something we don't understand. What if we're unknowingly repeating the same rituals? What if we're keeping alive a promise made in exchange for something we don't even know we lost? Perhaps that's why the arguments and tensions seem inevitable. Perhaps the forced joy is nothing more than a disguise to hide the fear. I didn't have definitive answers, but I knew I could no longer ignore the connections. With every light lit, every ribbon tied around a gift, it felt like the ritual repeated itself. I started to believe Christmas wasn't a celebration, it was a disguised sacrifice. And you, reader, have you ever stopped to think about what we are really celebrating? What do you feel during this time? There might be something you've never noticed, but has always been there. The question remains, are we truly celebrating or perpetuating a pact we never fully understood? If these reflections intrigued you, why not continue exploring themes like this? On our channel, you'll find videos diving into mysteries, uncovering hidden origins, and offering unique perspectives on the world around us. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, share your impressions in the comments, and share with others who enjoy questioning the obvious. Together, let's open new doors and discover what lies beyond appearances.